It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Alev Kelter, the USA Rugby player. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, Brandon. Great to be here.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to play rugby as a professional?
It's a good question. I was a ice hockey and soccer player before I found rugby. And I actually think rugby found me. The head coach of the Olympic team gave me a call and asked if I would like to try out rugby. And that's where it began. So tried out rugby 2 weeks after that phone call and loved it. Never turned back.
What was your time like at Wisconsin-Madison?
My time at Wisconsin was amazing. Again, I played Mark Johnson was a phenomenal coach for the ice hockey team and Paula Wilkins for the soccer team. So I was pretty spoiled on that aspect. But I got an art degree in sculpture, so it's just a little bit of dip my hand in a lot of amazing things, and it was an amazing experience.
What was it like going to the Olympics in 2018 for Team USA?
Well, so in Rio in 2016, I had an opportunity to play on the first ever women's rugby team ever in the Olympics. And so it was an amazing historic moment for all of us. And so everything we did was writing history, and we just had to be extremely grateful for all the women that came before us that didn't have that opportunity, but paved the way for us. And so it's been an honor to play for them and have those women also on my team. It was tremendous, but we definitely made a name for women's rugby. And this Tokyo Olympics, we really showed what American rugby is and what heart is, and gave it our all. So left it out there, and we didn't get the result we wanted, but we had such a fun time. And go back to the drawing boards, and in 3 years we'll have another crack at it.
What was it like to wear the U.S. Rugby's jersey and to know that you're representing, of course, U.S. and rugby?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, there's nothing that like words that can really describe what it means to put on the jersey. But if I was to try to describe, it's an honor. It's a true joy. And it's like one of the proudest moments of my life is to be able to represent my family and friends and people all over America, and show like grit, determination, hard work, and like the ethos of rugby.
Of course, what was it like this previous year going to the Olympics?
Yeah, it was a little different than Rio and the last Olympics because of COVID, but I really missed my family there. However, our team became so much closer because we really had to lean on each other. And so I'm very thankful for that. And, I always think that it's about like your perspective, and, Tokyo is a beautiful place and the people are amazing and gorgeous. And so I really enjoyed being in that environment. And although we didn't get to sightsee or tour around Tokyo, we were able to focus more on what our job was to really lean on each other, focus on rugby, and get a good showing out of the tournament. And that's what we did.
What was the preparation like for you?
Yeah, the preparation was a lot of like, because we started really preparing in the COVID time, like we had a lot of like individual workouts at home. And then we went from individual to about 7 players at a time at the training center, working through different rugby strategies, and then collaboration and connecting that with other groups. So we had like groups of 7 that we would all go through. And then we went from 7 to 14, 14 to 24. And then we had the whole squad together. And once we had the whole squad together, we had about like 6 months to train together before we went to the Olympics. And so it was a lot to get into that 6 months. And basically we were just trying to fine tune the details that we needed for, you know, a gold medal finish. And again, we were also like building our culture and learning how to do, you know, simple things really well. Like the things that we were really good at, we were just focusing on ourselves in that point, not necessarily like other teams until we got closer to the Olympics.
What was it like in the Olympics playing in sevens?
It was yeah, just like any other tournament, but it honestly, at the biggest stage, you have a lot of pressure, and so we could feel a lot of the pressure, especially in that quarterfinal game that we lost to in GB. You know, you really want, when push comes to shove, you want to lean on each other, and I think for us, we tried to take it into our own hands and do things a little too individually. However, at the end of the day, we realized that that was like, you know, a preparation tool, was to just take ownership and understand that that's what we did. That's the mistake we made. And we like moved forward from that. And we were able to win the next game and then lost to Australia. So it was a really good lesson that we learned, and we'll definitely take that into the next cycle. And especially it just made us like better humans, because we realized like, you know, together is better than one. Absolutely. Like you can say that, but to like really feel that, and then see like how we picked each other up off the field after that last game that was heartbreaking, and how we came together after that and like really fought for each other from that moment on, really showed like our courage, our bravery.
Of course, how did it feel to know that you were wearing the jersey and had the Olympic rings on your chest during the game?
Yeah, I think it's like you realize like with no fans in the stands or your friends or family around, like you realize that like the people across from you are what motivates you. And so, you know, we didn't necessarily see the rings on our jerseys, but knowing that it's the crest of the USA like emblem, and knowing that like what our team represents is like a broader spectrum of like our community and like our country, and being so diverse and so unique, that like it's inspiring just to look at the women I play with every day. So yeah, it's definitely inspiring to know that, and to be around that. And like that's part of what drew me to rugby, is that I get to be around badass women and strong ass women and female forward women like that really believe in each other every single day, and that's like inspiring to say the least.
How does it feel to look back on, of course, your career and know that you're a two-time Olympian behind your name?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, it really shows that I'm blessed. It's definitely like a privilege to be able to put that jersey on not just once, but twice in my lifetime. And I think right now I can get caught up in, you know, oh, wish we would have done this, or like we should have, or like all the different like hypothetical situations that we wish we could have changed. But like at the end of the day, like what an honor and a feat that is to be a part of such a small community that's done that. And also it's just a testament to like my teammates, to our coaching staff that believes in each and every one of us to choose on that team. And also it's a testament to like my family and where I've come from, Alaska. It's pretty tough and hardy there. And I think that really translates to being an amazing rugby player. Also, it's a huge testament to like everyone who provides, all the benefactors and people who provide for us at the national level. Like we couldn't do it without a big village. And we're just so thankful that we have a program that we get paid to play and run around in shorts and a t-shirt every day. And, you know, the worst part is putting on sunscreen, and that's not too bad at the end of the day.
Of course, what are some similarities and differences besides, of course, fans in the stadiums from the previous Olympics you were at versus this Olympics?
So there was nobody in the stands, and of course there was a lot of people in the stands in Rio. I think I had my whole family, but what I really like resonated with what in that question is like the absence of family when you lose. It's really hard, and like you can have, you know, a lot of like highs and lows at the Olympics, and it was a pretty low moment after we lost the quarterfinal game, and to like have looking up to the stands and just knowing that like 50 million people watched that game but not one was in the stands is like a pretty sobering like thought, and to know that like we're still, even despite this loss, like people still saw the hope and the grit and like the desire to like play for each other. Like even though we lost, like we still inspired people. And so it's not really about like the wins or losses. It's like about your purpose and like why you're there. And like our purpose was to like inspire, unite, and ignite like a community in our country. And I think we did that despite even losing. So it's not necessarily all about the gold medal, but it's about like how you hold yourself after you get knocked down and pick yourself back up. So
What are some of your favorite memories and moments during this Olympics?
yeah, my favorite memories was probably the opening ceremony. I got to walk next to Sue Bird and Eddie Alvarez, and I was with some of my girls from the team, and we had the men's rugby team, and we just were all kind of like holding down the left side, walking out, and that experience was just like overwhelming and so like heartwarming because last Olympics I was able to walk in closing ceremonies, but not opening ceremony, and like the elation and just like the happiness that everyone had like at that moment was just like over flowing on every single person, and it's like contagious. And so when you see a smile or people hyped up, it was cool. Like yeah, just everyone singing like songs in the tunnel or like wishing people happy birthday or like, you know, getting to see all the other Olympians in such like close quarters was pretty cool. It was amazing.
What was it like this Olympics when you weren't able to, like, let's say, go to the basketball game after your game to see Sue Bird?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I guess it's tragedy in general, like to not be able to go to other people's sporting events. Like one of my best friends, Paris Venegas, was her first time ever in the Olympics. And she was riding at the freestyle BMX course. And it would have been awesome to like, and she played after us. So it would have been awesome to go see her and cheer her on. So it's like, it's hard to not be able to go do that. But, you know, in the next, we're just, again, like so thankful that everyone kept us safe. And I trusted like our staff and the USOPC and the, you know, everyone doing their job in Japan to keep us safe. And so we're just like thankful and overwhelmed with joy that like the Olympics could happen despite not being able to see other teams.
Who are some players that you look up to that were in the Olympics?
I think Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, like
What was it like to know that you obviously looked up to those players and saw those players in the Olympics this year?
Eddie Alvarez. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes. What was it like to know that you saw those players and looked up to those players that you saw in the Olympics this year?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's like a sense of like respect and mutual appreciation for each other. Um, I think when you get to see like even just Simone Biles or people that were really talking about mental health and like Naomi Osaka, like it's really important to like realize that we're humans and that we really like connection, and this is just another way that we can connect with each other, but at the same time like compete for the highest you know, accolades, but while also uniting and connecting the world. So it's really a beautiful time.
What are some of your future plans in your rugby career?
That's great. Like I'm in a conversation with a Premier League in England, maybe potentially going to play abroad. That's an opportunity and potentially on the horizon. There's a PR sevens that's happening in America in Memphis in October. And so hopefully that we can get that started and have a professional sevens league here. But the biggest thing right now is like World Cup sevens for our World Cup sevens is in South Africa next year. And then right after that is World Cup 15s in New Zealand. So, you know, I'm not sure if I'll be able to swing both, but definitely one of those for sure. And I'm just happy to be healthy, happy to be surrounded by some badass people, and happy to have a family that supports me. So, yeah.
What are some of your preparations that you plan on doing to get prepared for the sevens and even, let's say, the next Olympics?
Uh, and to really relax. I have 6 chickens that I love, and just building a new coop for them. And so just like using my hands, getting back to like what I did in woodworking in college, and surfing a lot in California and Hawaii. And then, spending some quality time with my family. So just basically a big reset. And then let's say next year, I'll start to really ramp up the rugby again and have 3 more years really to get ready for Paris 2024.
What advice would you give future college rugby players looking to play college rugby?
Advice is to not be afraid to take risks, and don't be afraid of the word no. And if you know your why, you can't go wrong with wins or losses. You can only have fun and be passionate about what you do. So don't worry about the statistics, like worry about people around you and staying in the present moment and enjoying every single bit of it.
What advice would you give future people looking to get into the Olympics this upcoming year, and people that are already in the Olympics looking to go back?
Yeah, that's my, if you're either or, like, don't quit. If you're passionate about something, don't quit. Like, there's different unique ways to become an Olympian. And, I had tried to in soccer and ice hockey before this, and ended up being an Olympian in rugby. So there's always a way if you really want it, and to not be afraid of the word no. And again, like, don't quit. If it's something that you love, like, and you're passionate about, keep trying with all your heart.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I'm on Alev Kelter on Instagram, and Alev Kelter on TikTok, and Kelter Alev on Twitter. Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you again, Alev, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks. You too, man. Take care.
You too. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.